covers at night in that area. But it's not a cremation ground in covers. It's a village. So there are fields. So they are allotted a few fields as a cremation ground. And for watering those fields, the water was coming through channels and canals. So we sat there for some time, and we also did something like all meditation.
And I asked Swamiji, I just said, what should be done? What is the main work? And he just said, watch. The water kind of collected into a pond, and the Bengali ladies, you know, they collect little fish. They're dressed up in all color, and they have a pot tied on their head. And he said, watch. And so they have a net, and 3 or 4 ladies got in the pond, and they started moving the net toward the corner to catch the fish. And at one point, a big fish leaped out over the net and glittered in the sun, free, escaped the net of Maya. And Swami said, that's what you do. You know, so that I was remembering those days.
Like that fish who have grown fat in these worldly things.
Yes, that's the problem.
We become prosperous with the worldly goods. And still we want more.
There's no end to it. In fact, Swamiji, I wanted to ask you, before I left, I have a book, it's called Discourses by Sri Brahma Chaitanya, Randawali Baba. And he says...
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
He was a Ram now.
Right.
He's completely for Ram now.
Absolutely.
Yes. I read it.
But he said, the human will is so strong, it will actually attract the physical objects that are the obstacles. You don't have to even seek them. If you don't, see, this goes back to strength of mind. If you don't hold the mind somehow, these things, the problems will come to you.
See, the point is this, is because he does not belong to the parampara of Shankara. He said dualist. A man who believes in 2 things, that God separately created the jiva out of his powers.
Right.
And we have nothing to do with God except as servant and master. So there is no question of you are me, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, all these things fall down. There is that. So that is why his expressions are all as if the jiva is separate and is having a separate will. A thought cannot have another thought. In your dream, the tiger which came was one of your thoughts. The South African jungle where you were sitting there in your dream, it is another thought. So all these were thoughts. In that dreamland, the trees were you, and every stem was you, every root was you, the sand in which you were standing was you. So you were everything.
You see, Swamiji, the problem is, I've known you for too many years. Because earlier years, you would say, it's not a bad thing to think of yourself separate from time to time. Because then you pray with absolute sincerity. Save me.
Then when we sincerely like that, ultimately even in that you become one with it. So you become one with it. You become one with that form.
Right.
But when you become absolutely one, then nobody will see the form. Krishna, because you already become with Krishna. So there will be nobody. So at that time, what will be the form? So it is formless.
Yeah, I know.
The form remains so long as there is a seer. When the seer has become one with the...
I know, Swamiji, but again, you see, I'm ruined. You've ruined me. Because I remember when you said, you quoted what Sri Ramakrishna said to Mother Kali, when she said, I'll end it all. You'll merge with me. And he said, no, Mom. I'd rather taste sugar than become sugar. To be that little separate and taste that physical form. So,
see, the point is this. As Bhagavan Ramakrishna once explained, or Ramana, I don't remember. Yes, in the worldly example, the honey bee is different and the honey is different. The one is a taster, the other one is a tasted. But in the case of that final God, whether you consider as Krishna or whether you consider the Brahman or self, this plays both their roles in one.
Yes.
It's a unique thing for which there is no example at all where it can taste itself. So there is no honey needed to taste no bee needed to taste the honey. So it's all pleasure. So his own pleasure, he tastes himself and he says, oh, it's so nice. And then the Madhurashtaka which says, Madhuradipate Rakhilam Madhuram, Madanam Madhuram. So his love is so sweet, and even the stick which Krishna holds is so sweet. The gopikas are sweet, and when the Lord is lying like that, his entire posture is so sweet. Everything is sweet about him. Madhuradipate Rakhilam Madhuram.
Yes,
The entire thing is this.
Yes.
So naturally, the one who can grant the taste for everybody, he won't taste.
No.
So that is how. But then the point is, Ramakrishna did it for two purposes. Because the students were there. If you want to take them like Ramana to directly to the Vichara Marga or other Jnana Marga, that fellow will neither be able to go there nor will he again be able to come there. He would have forgotten both. There's a crow which wanted to walk like a swan. It had no other training earlier. He suddenly went there. It left off its method of walking and told, I am going to be under training for you, please teach me. So full 1 year under training, it was unable to get the Hamsagati, now walking like a Hansa. Then he said, okay, I will go back, I will walk like a crow. But by that time it has forgotten how to walk like a crow. So neither was it able to revert back to its original.
just by the association with the
But
Hamsa
I learned the Hamsa for so long, it had already forgotten it. So there is a stage, intermediate stage which we reach. And that the same Hamsa, it takes pity on you, gives you special classes and makes you.
You see, you told me once that something that Mother Nandamoi said, that as you're in the training and you come to a place that you start to get a glimpse,
Yes.
you said, don't hug the milepost, keep walking.
Yes. That famous thing, correct. See, so many things will come. You will see miracles on the way. You will see beautiful sights. Kanti, Jyoti, it's all false. Drishyate, Shruyate, whatever you hear, whatever you see, it's all false. So go ahead, go ahead. Don't stand in the park itself. Beyond the park is the palace where you have to go and train. So instead, you are caught up with the park, So walk again. That's what is required. So all these things, and why they come, it's all a milestone. What does a milestone do? It doesn't do anything else except to encourage you and tell you, well, you have come 200 kilometers distance, another 10 or 20 kilometers more, another 100 kilometers more. Don't worry, when you have traveled 200, what is 100? So it just peps you up. It gives you that encouragement. Yes, now I am supposed to, I think I am very near. So when he sees all these things, there are people who fall thinking that now I have realized God. So that mistake you should not do. But once you take it as an encouraging sign, so God has been so kind to give me all these things. But Lord, I don't want these lollipops. You keep them to yourself. Give me the ultimate. Give me your lap. That's all.
But Swamiji, when we were sitting in Kamarpur and watching the ladies catch the fish, and you said yes, the one fish who was fit escaped. I don't know what question I asked, but it was something about, well, is this real that we are sought and we must escape, or is that a dream? And where does Advaita enter in? And then you quoted to me something I think that's in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, where Sri Ramakrishna says you take your Advaita and like a handful of gram, you tie it in your dhoti, you got it. Then you forget about it and love God.
It happens, it comes. And then it says the Bhagavata is on life. You completely, you think of him, you say the Advaita, I will not go near anywhere at all. But then a day comes when that very Lord who has taken this form, he has taken your form, he has taken my form. And can't he take a form of a Krishna? Can't he take the form of a Rama? Definitely he can. Because he is you. So as it, you are only imagining it. When God imagines, is it impossible to get that particular form? He himself imagines that he is Krishna. He himself imagines he is Rama. So he comes in the dual role, the cinema, as a Ram. And a fellow who says, Ram, today my day is done. You have come personally. Oh, what a compassion. Oh Ram, let me die at this very moment seeing you. I don't want to live further without you.